it's best to actually know actual contracts that are bullish, right? So like, yes, it looks kind of bullish, but like if you don't actually see any contracts, actually, I have an idea. So like, you guys probably saw
Yeah, I was going to
the
suggest the NVIDIA one.
NVIDIA and 100 strike calls. So we saw these hit. I take your attention to this side right here. So we see 36 mil in calls, ask side calls on the 11th, which is this thing right here. The hover over is annoying, but like, so this activity right here, the 11th of March. What did it look like on the 11th of March? So on the 11th of March, like, yes, we do see. So like, if you just looked at it, let's actually just do that right now. I think I can get there. How do I get there? All right, so we're looking at the net premium chart for the 11th. So if I go back here, so on the 11th at like 10:30, at like 10:30 in the morning to 12ish, there was all that 36 mil activity. So like, yes, I do see, like, I know we know that this happened, right? Because I just went over it. So we see from 10:30 to like 12, like, yes, there was like a pretty solid impact of net activity. But if you just looked at this, you'd have no idea. You might even think, holy shit, like in the morning, there's this guy. Let's actually go back and try to find it right now. So we're looking for March 11th at like 9, we'll say like 9:49 and change. Excuse me, 9:49 and change. So I want to go to like 9. We'll go to 9:50. Just for the sake of finding what we want to find, we'll just go to a put. I want NVIDIA. Let's do like 5K maybe. Probably let's just go to like 1 mil, see what comes up. All right, so I think we found our culprit from like 9:46 to 9:48. So like in 2 minutes, there was on the 139 put expiring next week. There was all that mostly at the ask activity on this put. What happened to the open interest, which was closing activity? This is actually another great learning moment, I guess. So again, where would the NVIDIA chart go? So again, that huge jump in put premium at the beginning of the day. Let's just say we're looking at it live, right? I go here, I see, holy shit, this is coming in right now. Let's look at it. All right, so I see again, we wouldn't see all this information right here. We wouldn't even see this chart. We would see a chart from a different day. We would see it, it would look like this. So we would see, oh my God, like, 20,000 volume. It was so far in the money at the time, but we see 20,000 volume, but like, there's a lot of open interest, right? We just went over, someone requested that SPY put. That was like the 480 SPY put for next week. That one had way more open interest in volume. This one, not so much. But if you just look down here, and you can even use the chart, but let's just look down here first. So if you just look at the historical open interest, you come down here and you say, oh wow, on this day, just a few days ago, there was also 20,000 volume, give or take. The open interest went up 20,000, give or take. I wonder if they are the same person. And lo and behold, the next day, the open interest dropped to such a degree that you could easily determine that they were the same person indeed. So if you look at the chart, someone, if they might have bought these, they might have sold these, who knows? What we do know for 100% certainty is that someone opened a whole bunch of these on this day, and they closed a whole bunch of these on this day. But their close filled at the ask, which made the chart jump like this, when in fact this activity, it's meaningless-ish. I mean, it depends. Like, right, if this was a long position that someone closed, then it could be bullish, right? Oh, someone just banked on their NVIDIA puts and now they're closing up shop. Or the alternative could be someone got smoked and they're now closing it up. But either way, just by looking at this chart, you'd have no idea, right? We just did like 2 seconds not 2 seconds, I'm exaggerating, like, 2 minutes of research, and we found out that this was probably not anything that we really needed to be concerned about, right? And then again, on the 11th, all this crazy flow right here. Yeah, there's, it comes up here, but it doesn't stand out like crazy. It doesn't stand out as much as this. I can tell you that much, right? We can all agree there. So I think that's a pretty good example. So you can't just blindly look at this and say, oh, the put premium went up. I bet someone bought puts. Like maybe they did. All we know for certain is that some ask side puts took place right here. Another thing that the chart doesn't tell you is whether or not the activity is multi-leg or not. Let's see here. If I just take 2 seconds to look for a big multi-leg roll, kind that we see very frequently. Probably if I just type in like Tesla, it'll come up. So we see quite frequently these like 4-legger things that like I don't think have any directionality, any meaning to them at all. It's just some big hedge fund's way of doing whatever they need to do, right? People way smarter than us came up with this, whatever they're doing. But so we see 4 fills. These 2 ones that are expiring today are being closed like 100%. These ones that are expiring next week are being opened 100%. But you can see that. So we have a mid fill right here, which, like I said earlier, 5 minutes ago, would have no impact on the net premium. So this would have no impact. Underneath that, we have a bid side call for 4.15 million. So this transaction reduces the net premium chart, the call line, by 4.15 million. These 2 are just so small, so like we won't even talk about them. But this like super complex trade that like probably doesn't actually mean anything dropped the call premium 4.5 mil or 4.15 mil on the 14th at 11:15. So let's see if we can see that in the impact. What time did I say it was? 11:15. So you can't even see it because like so much other shit happened. So 11:15 is like right there. So you can see just like a tiny pixel drop right there. Like that's all that was. Like Tesla, like I said, Tesla, there's just so much stuff going on. It's hard to read. So yeah, just a lot of things to think about. Not everything is as it seems.